Hi, my name is Tammy Swarek. I'm from South Arkansas in a small town called Dorado. And um, I just want to, again, like everybody else, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for choosing the work. Um, Painting is something that I recently picked up primarily because of COVID. I was a fine art photographer before, doing a lot of digital collage work, compositing my images to really help me say and deal with my own feelings. Sometimes when I couldn't talk about them, I would do what I always call it. I have to go shoot that out. I have to purge that feeling. So I had to create it to get it out. And one thing that COVID did was it stopped that, like, just in its tracks. I couldn't leave. I couldn't go grab a model. I couldn't go to the store and shop for the things that I needed. I couldn't go to a location. We were all going through that. So I had to figure out a way to try to say what I needed to say with just the supplies that I had at home. And I had some pretty inexpensive paint for the first piece or two that I tried. I said, well, I'll just give it a try. I'll just see if I can sketch it. And I did. And so I wanted to, when I made this piece, what I was seeing was, oh gosh, it was right at March when things were just scary, right in the beginning. And I remember I was constantly watching the numbers, on how you go to your states and data for COVID and see how many people are infected in your area. I was checking that all the time, just trying to maintain some type of control. Like that was going to help me control that. And when I saw this, like I said, we were all doing that. And but then I started noticing things like you see the pictures on Facebook where the kids, the mom and dads who are usually working insane amount of hours a day, they're playing board games on the floor with their kids. They're family dinners at dinner tables. On my street, there was a neighborhood chat that we had never had before, where if one person was going to the store, they would check with everybody else on the street. Do you need anything? Let's all take care of each other. It was this, to me, it was an old new, it was or a new old kindness, because I had that growing up, and then life got so busy. My children didn't get to experience that. They didn't know what it was like to play on the same street, with all of their kids, all the neighborhood kids after school, and all this. I missed that for them when they were little. And when COVID hit, I started seeing all those things come back. It was a rewind for me, and I saw that was so beautiful. And when I created this piece, I wanted to show that yes, we were all afraid, and no, we have no idea how bad it's going to get. But the flowers coming out of the mask were symbolizing the beautiful side to it that I was seeing, the bonds that were being made, the prayers that were being prayed from people who'd never prayed before. It was an emotional time, and I'm so thankful for being able to get that one out. Some of the slides I included, if you want to go to the next one, like these I did before COVID. This is what I mentioned. I was very literal in my work. Like it was definitely something that I needed to say each time, an experience I was going through. And with both of these, my mom has Alzheimer's, and she's at end stage now. And right about these times is when she started losing her speech. And I just saw that things, coming to the terms that things aren't going to get better. And it was mysterious to me. And using the raven, I've always loved ravens. I've always connected with them, and they have such a fascinating history. And it was my way to mourn that out. And then again, to me, that's very literal. You can kind of see it and tell what I was going through at the time. But going through COVID, it connected me to other artists too. And I don't know, things just got quieter and calmer. And I changed and decided to, again, just playing with what I had at home. You can go to the next slide. I took a conceptual leap. You can see a little bit of a shift. The first one, that the shelter outside, that's titled Choices, and that's trying to that was right after the first couple weeks of lockdown, when they were trying to lift the isolation. And I was still terrified. To me, the world outside looked the same, but I didn't know if it was going to be the same, and I liked the safety net of my house, the protection, it was covering me. So that was the first installation type thing that I did. And I really got hooked right then. When I did that piece, it gave me a new set of tools to be able to tell my son's story, which I'll talk about in a minute. I have a son with autism, and I've always wanted to do a series about him, but I didn't know how until I did that in the backyard. And then it all made sense. The one next to it is essential versus non-essential. And this was actually a challenge by a friend of mine, Jennifer Thorson. And to me, what was important before COVID and what's important now, as we're going through, which bag is more important? That's what I was trying to tell with that. And with this new skill set that was just rushing through me at that time, I started visualizing the series that I'm going to I have been working on for the past several months about my son's autism and what his life is like. And many times when we hear the word autism, we picture a little boy sitting in the floor, spinning a top, or lining up toys in a weird way. But that's not autism. There's so much more to it. And they grow up, and it's not talked about enough. A lot of parents feel alone in it, that are going through it, because it's not reflected in art anywhere. Nobody, there's not enough discussion about it. And that's something that I want to change. So after seeing that in my backyard, that I had put up, I understood how I could tell Matthew's story. And the way that I'll do that is it'll be installation based. Very, very tactile, a lot of sound, a lot of uncomfortableness, but it's one of these things I feel led to do, and I feel like it's just doing it on its own, and I'm really excited about it.